everyone, and welcome to today's Cassandra on the Fly. My name is Cassandra Vaynerchuk, and I was going to talk a little bit about the journey of creating content, and especially since I'm able to create so much content so quickly. We were going to talk a little bit about that, and I probably will at the end of this video, but first of all, I just did a short on talking about the media outlets of fake news media guiding the masses to prove to you that what our democratic government is up to. It's a little complicated as you don't study it like I do. This is what you want to understand, and everything I'm saying is in factual evidence that is associated to a timeline. We know that Gary Vaynerchuk went to Qatar and made a video where his face looks like he just shit himself, and then a woman in a broadcasting system abused the hell out of him to try to abuse him on camera. So we all know that something horrific happened behind the scenes where they then put him on camera. Well, they then put his face on the side of a bus. So now he's in deep shit. But not in the kind of deep shit where he's doing something wrong. It's like he's uncovering the bad shit, okay? We also know that he has traveled to every country that the United States of America as part of the Democratic Party and is being allowed to host VaynerX companies and grow his company. We also know he's allegedly in a relationship with a Persian who is a demonic being, who is Cruella de Vil, who is also a prostitute, which we call prostitute, who is working for the Democratic Party and lies about everything she does. We also know that yesterday he posted Saudi Arabia in the news, and he was in Saudi Arabia recently where he traveled in a 24-hour-ish event where he went and educated on social media platforms, and he's done this across the globe. Some in his country, some in paid for, like seminars, right? Forced by the Democratic Party in countries that are associated with what the Democratic Party are up to create the New World Order. We know that the Saudi Arabians have purchased a large piece of land in the central part of this country to grow alfalfa leaves because they view cows as gods to feed their cows, while humans in this country are experiencing a drought with the farmers, which is food that goes on your table. If that alone doesn't tell you what our own country is up to, you definitely need to take a look at survival of the fit. You also want to know that the Iranian spies were against Iran, which is why they were in jail. You then want to take a look at the fact, this is all like factual clandestine shit that I've been trying to explain and educate to you. This is some big order business shit. We also know that Qatar is where these so-called American spies, but they're actually Iranians working for the secret team in Iran. If you look at the men that were released from prison, who we gave $6 billion to, where the money came from, I do not know. But the money, it was Americans' money. They lied and said it was about some oil deal that we owed them so that we could look a certain way and Iran can look a certain way, while Monavan produces a piece of content, once again posting on her platform to fuel war. She literally posts in her Insta story about what horrible people in Iran are. However, she is Iranian and was kicked out of the country for ill behavior. It's literally evident all over her platform. Then these folks were released from prison, which is where they should be, to where were flown to Qatar, which is the location of where we saw the World Cup, where all the celebrities are attending to produce music industry and all this other garbage. Because we all know that celebrity and Hollywood are forced to do things, but some like it because they like the clout, the following, the fame, and the money. We know Beyonce went and did a performance in Qatar and was paid a lot of money. It's a weird space to be in the Middle East. We know that Adam Levine did a world tour where they forced him to go to Egypt. And he said he's never been to the pyramids. That's not a really cool place to do a concert, just to let you know. Y'all think it's cool. It's not really that cool if you're an American and you've never been to Egypt. It's called, they don't think the same way that you do. We then know that the Saudi Arabian just went on the Fox News that Murdoch now is stepping down as CEO for the umpteenth time, so that his grandson, who's a Democrat, can take over fake news in the organization. Because even Murdoch, and I've been giving Fox News a hard time, is a Republican. However, he has to tiptoe around that idea because this is where we're at in our democracy, meaning you can't be a Trump supporter if you want to thrive in success. So Saudi Arabia king, who's the son of a good king, then goes on to Fox News and says that he's warning Iran. They're all trying to start a world war. He's warning Iran about nuclear weapons. Did he not agree to release the spies? However, when you talk to a spy, they're traitors to their own country, and so they will lie, because it's literally like, it's hard to show you, but it's like this person and this person and this person and this person and this person, and they all have their agendas. And these people are all spies, and they're really good at lying. And they're good at mind manipulation, which is the truth about lying. It's all mind manipulation on what you can get people to believe as the truth. So he goes on to Fox News to broadcast to make Iran again the bad guy, when the reality who the bad guy is the Monovan crew. We've got evil people in Australia. We've got evil kids in Brazil. We've got evil people in Japan. No one is actually grounded in any sort of substance of ethics, morals, and values. We've got crypto on the rise. We've got NFTs circling around that are all toxic, by the way, except for mine, VFriends. They're all toxic and all money-hungry grubbers that have no substance in them. They're like death traps, to be honest with you. The end of the world. All connected to the internet, all associated with artificial intelligence. And if you know, see, y'all are really lack self-awareness to think that a robot is emotionally intelligent. See, that's where you're getting confused. See, you can go into AI of GPT, and you can ask logical, scientific questions, and it won't know the answer to it. You'll ask, tell me about Biden's campaign, and it'll give you nothing within depth of news articles. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you what artificial intelligence is supposed to tell you. However, if you go into artificial intelligence and you ask it about emotions, it'll give you a whole synopsis. That is called painting a narrative, because if enough people get involved in AI and GPT, then they can create a form of controlled suppression that you will never get out of. Yes, we can call it associated to aliens, but that's up to you whether you want to believe that or not. But either way, if there's aliens or not, it doesn't really matter. It's still a form of suppression and control. Meaning now they're trying to disintegrate families, husband to wife who are friends, children to mothers, children to fathers, siblings, break them apart. There's women out there who are part of this social elite, whether you're in Hollywood, whether you're on social media, and they're literally trying to overthrow men. So as a man, whether you're in this country or some other country, you need to take a look at the lack of ethics, morals, and values that women have. They are nothing more than jealous, crazy, sexually driven prosties who are literally destroying this country. And it's just interesting. Like today I made a video about, I actually did a princess video with Daring Dragonfly. And I thought to myself when I made that video, I said to myself, wow, you know, that really felt like what it felt like for me when I was a kid in association to like Snow White. But that's not what these folks are up to. They're more along the lines of control, disempowerment of boys, disempowerment of men. It's like, it's very challenging to try to show you. You must see it for yourself to see what they're doing to you in an intellectual space, because intellects are more important at this time, because if you fuel your country off of emotional intelligence, then you will go to war. Because most of you don't really even understand emotional intelligence. Most of you are pitting emotions at the other person, which is why you blew up the Russian bridge. That's why Zelensky or the Americans blew up the Russian bridge, is to get Biden's idea to get Putin pissed off. And people that we used to have alliances in comfort with, which was North Korea, China, even Putin, because Putin came to the G8 summit years ago, but I forget what year it was, 2008, 2007. Putin was on American soil in this region where I am living now. He came here. It's in photographs, and I've shown them to you, where we were handshaking with him. Meaning they're telling a bunch of fake stories and fake lies to grow their income. So we've got, and the Americans, and they're all doing bad things. So Trudeau is involved. The Brazilian guy is involved. So you really want to look at the map of where Gary Vaynerchuk is hosting VaynerX, because it literally is him working for the Democrats and popping up allowances for educating them on advancing forward, folks. And then he's with an Iranian. It's like, hello? And then China is purchasing land, but it's not China. It's people who are in business in China. However, they always say it's China, which means that billions and millions of people across the globe who are working with Bite Leg or whatever it's called, or TikTok, are this is a communist community of internet, which is why everyone feels so controlled. But see, Shu is very shallow and empty inside and only cares about how someone looks or what he can get from you. So he'll see a chubby girl who is actually really disempowered, and he wants you to feel disempowered, so he allows her content to go viral, especially in America, because if you feel disempowered, then you will actually allow his money and bank account to grow, because you'll get filled up by continuously going back to the platform. Then people will see it as an opportunity in finances, and then everyone will show up back at the platform, which means that he makes money. However, society as ethics, morals, and values is in the toilet. We've got control by the government when it comes to Facebook. Meaning we've watched how the government will turn on people like Snowden, like the people who are ratting out our own government. The FBI agents who are ratting out their own government. We've got our Mark Zuckerberg, who was forced to do some of the things that he was forced to do, or his shit was going to get closed. But see, most of you back then didn't realize the evolution of what your decision making would bring upon the globe, especially when you've got someone who's claimedly a charismatic leader. Because in our mindset, the brain of the United States of America is democracy and republic. So no matter, if you're in my generation, you believed in America, the Pledge of Allegiance. You knew the Pledge of Allegiance. You knew the Star Spangled Banner, because those years in school, no matter who you were, you had to use it, not had to, but you sang those things. So now they're trying to take the Pledge of Allegiance out. It's funny to me because people who were Jehovah's Witnesses, they never stood for the Pledge of Allegiance. They were educating them on how to go against your own country. But see, religion and it's kind of multidimensional, because religion is separate from government, but government is part of religion. And so most people can't really understand "In God We Trust" is actually just saying that we believe in the goodness of what's we're up to. Like, that's your groundedness. So if you take "In God We Trust" out, you're making it a bigger deal than it is when it comes to religion. It just means that you're not willing to be a part of democracy. You want to be in control. So it's not like you're being forced. Because in the old days, we didn't have as much radio and television and forced documentation and like blowing up in your faces. Now, I talked to you about the noise and how the noise is so volatile. You know, everybody out there wants to be a victim without doing any work to not be a victim. And you are a victim, but you're going to lay down and be a victim and then just abuse other people as if they're abusing you, when they're not doing shit to you. See, the difference between me as a victim, which I'm the biggest victim on the planet, and you as a victim, is that I'm still producing content, which is assisting people in getting their brains thinking. You, on the other hand, are choosing to violate people's civil rights by stroking someone's cucumber in a gym setting to get likes, views, and follows. And it doesn't matter if you're physically doing it or not. It's the occurrence of what you want people to think. See, Mona Van just posted a short snippet of her at the gym. She wanted you to think that Gary spent the night at her house because she wants you to think that they're living together. And so he'll post pictures and videos of the same apartment that she posts with her rubbing vegetables erotically. Then he'll show up in the background and she'll cut him off from speaking. So you really want to take a look at this player strategy of, like, it's a bunch of mean girls running the internet, because what she's actually up to is she's actually attempting to take out VFriends. She's actually, because a woman who wears a bikini top is not going to educate my children. I am so sorry. You are not going to own a dog so that you can get clout and following. I just find it really unique that you have a Shih Tzu when I used to show my Shih Tzu on my platform, and now Mona Van wants a Shih Tzu. Not to mention, she literally copies all my clothes. And then she has a more fancier apartment, which is boring as shit. But I really try to paint the narrative of facts, because a narrative is facts. It's like telling a story associated to facts. And see, we have it all on video. It's all on video, some of which I haven't even watched. It's all on video. So a narrative is either made up in your mind by subliminal messages, which is very toxic, because that's the intention. That's bad intentions. Or a narrative is telling you what actually happened. And so everyone's communication in bad intentions versus what actually happened, which are bad intentions, are very misconstrued. It has everything to do with the two genders and how your countrymen are trying to convince everyone that there's more than two genders out of victimization. But see, they use that as a platform and an agenda to roll out a platform. So that is not ethical, moral, or value, is it? Because that's selfishness. That's selfishness, isn't it? Because your children need groundedness in something in their life. Facts. They need some facts as they're growing up. Not that it's okay for a tranny to come do a strip dance in front of them, which is scarring them while they try to molest the kid with their ass hanging in the air. Well, the mom says, everyone deserves a shot. See, that's manipulation. So that's a victim, that's a child victim with a mother who's victimizing a child who's being victimized by a man dressed as a tranny, who's looking to fuel an agenda associated to the Democratic Party. If you want to see a tranny show, then you need to go to a Savannah where, I forget your name, who's been hosting a tranny show for a long time. And I actually even think it's pretty professional. And then you keep your private life private, meaning you guys have no idea how nasty some of these trannies are. And your babies know it. So this is all associated to the Democratic Party, coming from the fact that they rigged an election and then lied about it and then fueled mass chaos with Kamala and Hillary and Newsom and all of them knowingly stealing money from your pockets while thousands of people are homeless in California. New migrants have just entered into this country today. Villains and crooks with a whole new set of culture, and not the kind of culture that was sophisticated like Italy or Germany. No, these people are lowlives living in the dirts of the street. They live in desert. They don't understand what kind to thy neighbor means. You do get that, right? You do understand that these people do not live like Americans, and they are not going to abide by the laws. They're going to murder some of you. So I'm letting you know that some of you just got murdered because some of these people just stepped foot on this country's land, and it's Biden's fault. So those same people who are getting murdered are the ones that are saying, no guns, please. Why do you think that Biden doesn't want weapons? Kamala Harris said they're trying to decrease the population. We're literally watching unintelligent psychosis of not only bots, which are fueled by Democrats, Hollywood, content creators, and anyone who supports it. Women are out of control. Men aren't doing anything about it. We're watching nothing more than a circus act of everyone across the globe, watching a pretend king, prince, because the king's still alive, go on Fox News and humiliate his heritage. Because he wants to look cool and feel important. And we already know in the video we saw with Gary Vaynerchuk that they have some laws and rules that are restrictive. However, we in this country of America need some laws that are restrictive, meaning we don't want to see your titties and we don't want to see your basketball titties either. We don't want to see your vajayjays. We don't want to see you in a bikini. We don't want to see you pregnant in a bikini either. That's what happens when you give people too much freedom. It's called the Biden administration, when you showed a trainee's fake basketball titties in front of the White House. There's a movie out, and I forget the name of the movie, where the leader of the country is watering the crops with orange soda. The world has fallen apart. It's all about prosties. It's all about psychosis and scary times. And that is what is in the future, while rich people live behind fancy walls. But I'm going to tell you right now, those walls will only protect you so much and so far. You think because you got tons of money, Katy Perry, that a big cement wall is going to keep out a bomb? Because just like in everything, there are always criminals who are hiding malicious weaponry. And if they know you've got something on the other side like food, they don't give a crap who you are. And your daddy is only going to protect you at so many levels, especially when someone puts a bullet in his head after you put him on your Instagram page. Using your other people and your family as a shield. Now that's pretty honorable, isn't it? We've evolved in internet to where we are today. It's gotten really, really bad. And that's because there are no laws and no rules. And now everybody in the globe is trying to capitalize off of it and get their piece of the pie. However, the people that are winning at this time, seriously winning, how are they winning? They're getting paid. That's what they think winning is, though. You want to understand that. They think they're winning, but they're actually losing. Means we're all losing. Meaning they're getting a paycheck because they brainwashed you into believing certain things are true, like attractiveness and fancy clothes are important and being on a yacht is cool and all this dumb shit. So now you can't even sit across from somebody at breakfast and have a nice breakfast of discussion because your server is standing over you trying to abuse you. And the man who's making your waffle is trying to rape you right in front of your parents. Or the little Mexican kids that are definitely migrants are trying to flirt with you when you're old enough to be their mother. Meanwhile, they're also trying to stab you in the back, stab you in the head, stab you in the gut, as if that's cool. And that's what you're all up to. Because you all have no kindness inside of you. Because you all lived off of the surface layer of everything, and then you allowed those people to go viral very quickly, although they have nothing to offer except for big titties and a bikini bottom. Dancing on a boat. While their boyfriend whispers in their ear, who just so happens to be married. I want to remind everybody that AJ and Mona Van are fucking. So let's remember that when we're watching the two of Gary and his sister-in-law, Mona Van, when he shows up in the gym behind the scenes as she pretends to post more garbage. It's the future of this country unless y'all do something about it, because my content can only take this place so far. You all are all the money with, you are all the ones with the money, and the money controls the minds. And that's a sad, sad, sad place to be, billionaires. Y'all are the most sadistic of all, that you could hold on to that much money and sleep at night.